You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Tiona Hobson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Castle After Show.
Woo! We are back. Finally, it's been a long, long summer. We're back for season 6 of Castle, episode 1, obviously entitled Valkyrie. And I'm Paige Sullivan. I'm back again for another season of Castle. But we have a special guest who you guys haven't met before on our Castle After Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Tiona Hobson. Excited to be here.
Yeah, we walked into AFTERBUZZ tonight, and I saw her, and she's like, "Did she say yes?" I'm like, "I haven't watched it yet, but I'll let you know."
And then I just ended up watching it with you.
And then we watched it together. So this is big. We've been waiting all summer, and our predictions were wrong. I'll admit, me and the other Castle hosts thought that we'd see Beckett and Castle further along in whatever was going on, which we did see, but we got to see the yes, which I was very excited about.
Yeah, I like that they picked it up right exactly where it left off.
It was nice, and the way she got all excited and she actually wanted to marry him, because we were so concerned that they weren't going to get married and that she was going to take the job and that would be the end of Castle and Beckett.
Yeah, I was kind of scared for that too.
Yeah, so they're
working it
together.
out.
Yeah, they're really dedicated to this somewhat long distance relationship. Like, I realize it's a long distance, but Castle, you're a millionaire. Stop complaining. You could get back and forth to DC every single day if you wanted to.
I'm pretty sure there's a train.
I think there's a train, and flights are maybe 45 minutes.
Oh, see, even better.
I would assume. I'm making that.
I mean, just become a regular at the airport.
New York to DC, I mean, those are major cities. I mean, I'm sure there's direct flights back and forth.
Longer distance relationships have worked out better.
Yeah. Yeah.
As well, so.
Yeah, guys, 3,000 miles right here.
Yeah.
That's expensive. And I am not a millionaire. I am no Castle. But we come off, she says yes, and we kind of get thrust into 2 months later. Castle's been on a book tour for 2 months. He's just getting home. Alexis is home from her summer vacation of traveling the world, and she's got a new boyfriend named Pie with her. We were like, hi?
It sounded like she was like, hi. This is hi. And everyone was saying hi.
Yeah, and he was like, hi.
It's like, hi, like you're smoking weed,
That's
or hi?
I wrote that. I was like, hi, question mark? Like, hi? And then Castle asked, he goes, how do you spell that? Like, the dessert? And he was like, no, like pie, like the mathematical. And I was like, oh, pie.
Even better.
First off, that wouldn't fly in my household. I couldn't just bring a man home and assume he was staying there and be like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah. No, especially that young.
No, and I know she's in college, and when you're off at college, you do things, but you just don't do it at home. It's just...
Yeah, when you're out at college, you get to have your rules and it's your fun, but when you come back to the parents' nest, it's their rules and...
No fun.
No fun. There's curfews. All of a sudden, you're like, what? Yeah. No, I'm an adult now. And they're like, no, you're not.
It's always come off as though Castle wants to be Alexis's best friend. And so in doing so, he doesn't have that much authority over her. He does, and he's a father figure, but he doesn't want to say no and take things away from her. But I love how he's like, you should set up the couch for him if he's staying.
But I like how he said that, but then didn't stick around to enforce it. So we don't know if he actually slept on the couch or not.
I'm assuming he didn't, because Castle left to go see Beckett, who is in D.C., and she's working on classified things, apparently. Lots of classified things.
She's a big-time federal agent now.
Well, she's apparently not doing so well, because we start off with her in training and she gets killed. So, but we're meeting her new team. She's got a female partner, which I think is not strange, but you don't see many female partners. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Most of the time, you'll see a female and a male, or two males. I've never seen a show or in real life. I mean, I'm sure they exist, obviously, but two female women in power working together.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess on Brazilian Isles, they're not really partners.
No, yeah.
So that doesn't count.
They come off as partners, but they're not really partners.
Yeah, are they lesbians? Are they not?
What about Beauty and the Beast?
Beauty and the Beast, this is true.
Marissa.
Now.
And Marissa knows I'm a Beauty and the Beast host here at AFTERBUZZ. How come I didn't think of that? That is very true. But, this Castle, that's federal. This is not, you know.
Yeah.
Don't Beauty and the Beast fans, I hope you're not watching this episode. But no, I mean, it's nice to see them. Her name's McCord, and then we meet Hendrix and her boss. I never caught his name.
I didn't either. I just call him Chief.
Chief, the man in charge.
There's always a chief somewhere.
For federal agents, they're all pretty relaxed, you know what I mean? They don't really care about the Castle thing going down. They're not mad. She doesn't get fired. Nobody gets really arrested.
Yeah. I kind of thought there was going to be more of a backlash on that. I guess, I mean, by the end of the episode, he pays the ultimate price, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that, yeah.
But I thought that, the boss would be more mad, but I guess it's kind of nice to have a boss that's not quite as angry like we've had in the past, It's
No, I agree. Because other bosses have... the last chief, well, she's still around, I'm assuming. We didn't see her this episode, but she doesn't... Or she's liking Castle more. She's didn't like Castle.
Getting used to Castle.
Yeah, they're finding their common ground. But, this whole episode, we're being introduced to Washington, D.C., which is confusing to me because at first we didn't see anything really happening in New York other than Castle coming home. And then we get a tiny, tiny bit of New York, and then all D.C., and then New York again. So I'm not sure if this is how the episodes are going to go because in New York, we were used to them always solving a crime together. So now I'm confused to whether it's going to be Beckett solving a crime and New York solving a crime, or Beckett solving a crime and New York pitching in.
This is where my mind's kind of going, and this might be a little more prediction-y, but I don't see I see maybe the two crimes, so maybe there's two crimes that kind of follow a similar path.
Like
in leading
parallel.
in leading to the explanation. They're not related, but maybe there's some commonness of like, oh, we're feeding back and forth off of each other.
Yeah, I'm still hoping that Castle and Beckett are reunited back in New York and she just goes back to her old job. But now that we're in this season, I don't think that's the way it's going to go down. But like I said, we started off in D.C. and Beckett can't go home because there's some big case they have to solve. And so Castle comes to see her and sticks his nose in her business and gets involved in this case, which involves a blackout and stealing of some transponders.
I put a transformer.
A transmitter?
I wrote down transformer.
Well, no, there was a transformer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's like, Bumblebee.
I was like, Bumblebee comes to the rescue.
No, there was a transformer. That's what Castle stuck his nose in. She left that picture at home.
Oh, okay.
And it was a transformer that blew up somewhere because of the blackout.
Yeah.
And that's when he got Ryan and Esposito involved and stuck his nose where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, there was a Black Ops person. It was kind of very intricate.
Yes, this whole episode there was a lot of details to pay attention to. First, we're finding out that there's an underground way this person got into the building and stole whatever they stole, and then they are coming out of the golf course, and then there's a person. His name was Jack Bronson. So Castle finds out what the car was. I love how he's like, Beckett, you want my info? Like, they weren't going to get it from the security guard anyways. You know what I mean? They were going to find out. But, so we find Jack Bronson and kind of dig into his life. But I said, if he was really doing this, there's no way there would be stuff in his house. And immediately they find stuff in his house.
Yeah.
I didn't even think at that point, like, oh, he didn't do it. I was kind of like, oh.
I was just like, oh, well, maybe he was sloppy. But
yeah.
But then, I mean, when they walked in too, I was like, well, of course he's not going to be home, because if you do a crime like this, you know that eventually they'll find you, so you won't be hanging out at your apartment like, hey, I'm here on the couch eating potato chips.
Exactly. And so they, they're looking for him, and as they're looking for him, Castle and Beckett have this conversation, and then as they hang up and she's investigating, he gets taken at gunpoint by Jack Bronson, who saw him. We saw them taking pictures of Castle at the golf course, but I thought it was her work. I thought it was her work,
too. I thought her boss actually just already knew. The chief knew already, and that he was following him and was going to confront him, and there's going to be this huge blowout about federal charges being brought up against him.
I know. I'm glad that's not what happened, but what did happen is a little worse. But it's all snowballing. It's Castle's out, Castle's in, Castle's out, Castle's in. So Castle was out. Now he's back in. Jack Bronson dies in the car. Then Castle gets arrested even though they know he didn't do anything wrong. They just want information from him, which he gives them, which is Valkyrie. Which I don't think we know what it is yet. still.
No, they had never heard of it either. They were like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know. That's kind of your job to know this stuff.
I know,
because
right?
I'm not supposed to be involved in it.
Yeah, so
I was just trying to make a salmon dinner.
I know, he's like, I was getting the red wine that makes her feel all happy, getting ready for a nice night with his fiance. Too bad that never happened, and she kicks him out, basically. We were talking about this. How can you just be like, you have to go back to New York till I'm done working for the next month?
Yeah, because we were talking about, like, even when her partner said, that she picked up a guy one time, and the next day he was asking who that person was, and she was sleep-talking. Well, if you have a husband and you're sleep-talking, aren't they going to ask you questions? Like, if you have a spouse of any sort, first of all, how do you make yourself stop sleep-talking? Because I could use some pointers. Because, you never know what you might say in your sleep.
You never know.
I mean, it just sounds like, oh, you can force yourself to stop sleep-talking?
Well, not even that. It's like, so you need Castle to leave. Why can't he stay and why can't you just see him at night? Or is it a Castle case sensitive where he can't keep his nose out of business, so it's better off if he's gone? Doesn't help, because even when he goes back to New York, he's sticking his nose in it. He's got to go
talk it out with his boys, and then...
Yeah, it's like they're living a parallel world right now. Castle's in New York working for the case, which he's not supposed to be, and Beckett's working for it. It's just funny to me how she keeps finding these leads. She finds the underground tunnel aspect of it, or the sewage system. She says, let's hold off, when they find his girlfriend, let's hold off on arresting her until we see what she's doing. And, she's like, oh, well, I believe he was set up, and nobody else is believing these things. How believable is that she's the only one who has these feelings or thoughts, and she's the new one? What, were they not solving anything prior to her coming in?
Maybe they were putting the wrong people in jail. Maybe they were just doing the bare minimum and like, oh, well, all the stars align here, so we're not going to ask any more questions. So maybe that's the good thing about Beckett, is that she's bringing the new perspective, and she's bringing like her fresh eyes because she still wants to prove herself. And sometimes, the youngins who want to prove themselves are a little overzealous and, end up annoying. But, she's actually helping out a lot with her, her gut feelings, because she's asking more questions and they're getting the right answers.
And she's always been like this, to be honest, from New York to DC. She's always been the one who says, yeah, we feel like we've got him, but I don't. There's a piece missing that I want to find out more about. So it's nice to see that she's keeping true to herself.
Yeah, because, my question when we find out that, Jack Bronson has this, as they were wrapping everything up, I was like, but they haven't really explained his motive.
Right, like,
for any of this. Like, why would he's retired from the military of whatever specialty he was, and why go for this transformer thing? Like, what value is it to him besides, making a lot of money?
Right, and so that's what they're thinking, I guess. That's the motive. They think he can sell it to someone else, or sell it to, I don't know, terrorists, or just opposing people.
Because it has all the nuclear
It has information on it. I don't know. I mean, it's a little box. I don't really know what it has. I'll never... Some of the things they were saying this episode, I was like, wait. It's like, this is too intricate. This is, like, too much information that I don't understand.
It's like, now that we're in D.C., I feel like we're dealing with, like, terrorist type of
We've got to
scenarios
brush up
where
on
I'm
our...
like, oh,
yeah.
I need to learn some things.
I need to pay closer attention. And there's so much new technology. They're just like, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah, they're swiping
boom,
things.
Swipe. Yeah.
It's like, this is not how New York works, and
no.
I need you to go a little slower. I need some paper. I need to be able to read what's up there for a minute.
Well, because in New York they have the board with the pictures, and they place things up there and leads, and they just got the tech girl basically last season, when they're like, oh, she can do this. So now we're in a whole new world where we're seeing all this stuff. Whenever I watch a show like this, I'm like, I wonder, like, do we really have the capabilities to do this in our country? Which I'm assuming we must.
I feel like we can, because I've seen, I don't know the specifics.
She's like, I've been in
No,
DC.
I've been places, I've seen things.
Classified.
No, but there's like a car where you can kind of like swipe and things show up on your dashboard and your mirror in front of you, like the speedometer and everything. So we're kind of moving towards this stuff. I don't think it's out to the masses yet, but there's definitely some things out there that are kind of fancy.
Yeah, really fancy.
If you have money.
I can barely work my iPhone, people, like, let alone
I haven't
work.
updated my iPhone because I'm scared of new technology.
Like, what's going to happen? What happens when I update? I mean, Beckett's just, like, breezing through like she's been doing this all day when she hasn't. So it's It's pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, for 2 months in, to be that caught up on all the advances you have working with the federal agency.
The funny thing to me was, so Castle's trying to work alongside her this entire time, but really he's just finding out the same things she is. You know, that she already knows. He's like, well, somebody was here and he had this car, and they're like, we're gonna find that out anyways. We're here too.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got here sooner because you were probably closer. I don't know.
Because you don't have to make the calls, get the proper permitting and all that stuff. You just kind of show up places.
Exactly. No offense to Castle. I know you want to make it, like he says, I'm trying to make it what it used to be, and he can't, obviously, because they're federal agents. They have access to so much more than he has, or even the guys back in the precinct have. But I like to see that he's still maintaining his friendships with them.
Yes.
And calling them up. And, Ryan was swaddling his little baby. He's 4 months out from the due date. Like, calm down. You're going to make it.
He's got to make sure he's got that swaddle right.
I know.
I hear it's hard to master.
It's not that hard to master.
Not.
I mean, find it on Pinterest. I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could master it in about an hour if you had to. It's not too hard. Not that okay. Well,
It's not that you're just randomly Pinteresting like how to swaddle a baby.
I swaddle people on the weekends. That's my day job. No, I don't, guys. I used to be a nanny. Okay. I could teach Detective Ryan a few things if I had to. But it's cute to see how into it he is.
Yeah.
Because we found out she was pregnant right where we left off 2 months ago. That's actually funny. No, not 2 months ago. It feels like the 2 months, from when the beginning of this episode to the end. But we found out she was pregnant prior to that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure even when she found out she was more pregnant than we let up. It's not like she just got pregnant that day and she was like, baby. So I don't know, where that was in the last episodes because they all blur together from the last season. But, it's cute to see him. It's nice to see Esposito kind of staying involved. But at the same time, it's funny that they're even wanting to get involved because they know this is classified, and when he comes to talk to them and tell them stuff, they want more information.
Yeah.
Where they could lose their jobs too. It's like, do none of you care about the law?
Well, apparently all the crime has stopped in New York City since Beckett's been gone, so they looked pretty bored, and they were just kind of like, give us something. Like, we've been, well, they said that they had just finished their case, so, they're like, hey, give us the dirty.
It's true. I mean, not every precinct has a case all the time. I mean, it feels like that because we're watching Castle every single week, and there's always something happening, but that's not the reality of it.
Yeah, they're not always working nights, like late shifts, overtimes.
No. So, I mean, it's nice to see the guys back together. It's good to see them giving him advice about Beckett and being supportive of their relationship because they just found out about this a couple months ago. It wasn't public knowledge that they were together, and now they're engaged and doing a long-distance relationship. There's a lot to handle in the friendships that are evolving and changing. Because now they can't make fun of... They couldn't even make fun of Beckett if, because Castle's engaged to her now. I mean, they're probably still going to make fun of Beckett.
They're probably still going to make fun of her.
Which is fine. It's fine. But it's nice to see that they're back. We were concerned about where that was going to go. And they're the funny guys. They're always funny. And so... I'm happy to see them back. I'm sure you viewers are happy to see them back. We need a little laughter, especially in these serious shows. It's not that Castle's a serious show, but aspects of it are pretty serious. So we need a laugh now and then.
And I was happy to see them because I was just like, if she's in D.C. and, what if, Castle and Beckett end up moving to D.C.? Like, I was concerned that they weren't going to be on the show anymore.
I know. I mean, I knew they were coming back for this season, so... Obviously, I knew they were going to be there, but in what sense? You never know how they're going to show up. You watch these shows for years, and then one day they, flip a switch, and you're like, no, how did you do that? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
So I'm glad everybody's back. Most of the gang, we assume we'll see the rest of them as the shows progress. But if you do need laughter, just like from, Detective Ryan and Esposito, you should go and buy the Serial Buddies movie. It's out on DVD now, and a lot of AfterBuzzers put hard work into it, Kevin and Maria especially. And so if you need a laugh, something to do on your rainy fall day, if you're anywhere but Los Angeles like we are,
it's like
you
rain.
Should get it. Yeah, we don't get rain here, unfortunately.
What's rain?
What is rain?
What is rain?
But seriously, check out the movie. It's very funny, worth your time. It's got murder, it's got laughs. It's basically Castle in a different form. So, not really, but it's funny and you'll like it. So, getting back to the more serious aspect of Castle, things kind of snowballed very quickly towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, I was concerned. It ended with a to be continued.
A to be continued.
anyway.
Those are the
But,
worst.
yeah, but I was just like, we only have like 10 minutes left and they still don't have answers and what's gonna happen. So it did feel very like rushed, but I'm glad that they split it so that we can get like a full explanation next week.
And I'm still kind of confused because when Castle was talking to Ryan and Esposito was saying, oh, there's this ghost base, and he's like, where is it? He's like, I don't know, it's a ghost space. Like, I don't know where it is. But they're trying to talk, so we're getting one piece of the puzzle that Beckett doesn't have yet. And then Beckett's finding out something else has been stolen, and it's in a classified place in this building, level 8 of this building. And so we're getting these two pieces. How do they connect? We don't know. We're in New York, we're in DC, so I'm assuming next episode those are going to come together in helping to solve this crime because, unfortunately, obviously Jack Bronson died. Well, Castle has been infected with whatever Jack Bronson's been infected with.
Okay, so whatever chemical is on this 8th floor
is deadly.
Is deadly. They put it in Jack Bronson's car.
In, like, the air ducts.
So I'm assuming since he was driving around so long with it, that's why he died when he died. And maybe that's because Castle wasn't in the car as long.
Well, I was going to ask when we were watching it, but obviously we were engrossed in the episode, how did he die? They never said how he died. He just dropped dead.
Yeah, his face got really red. I was like, is he having a stroke?
Yeah, it didn't look like anything. I'm a Breaking Bad watcher, so it reminded me of, like, ricin or whatever, the poison. Like,
oh, yeah.
Your body just slowly shuts down until it, you die. And so that's what it reminded me of because there wasn't a clear way that he died. I never, ever saw that Castle was being infected with something.
I didn't either. And I kind of feel like the windows might have been down. If someone could, I feel like maybe I saw a window down, but I could be wrong. But either way, apparently he has enough in his system to die in one day.
You have to wonder when it was put into Jack Bronson's car, because was it put in when they initially set him up days ago because he just died, and then Castle was in the car for maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So obviously they said it was extremely powerful. That's why it's kept on this classified floor, because they couldn't figure out how to make it work the correct way, and it's dangerous, has the power to kill thousands. But how does it work? How long do you have to be exposed to it?
That's what I was going to ask too, because Castle wasn't in there long enough. Jack Bronson, how long has he been driving around with it for him to drop it?
Like, did they just put it in his car?
Yeah, did they do it when he was out abducting Castle, or?
Yeah, but then Castle would die exactly the same time.
Yeah.
It's just weird, and he's not feeling any side effects. That's the other thing.
Yeah, because if he had been slurred speech or just acting out of the normal Castle realm, then maybe I would have seen it coming, but
no.
There's nothing. He was at home Googling ghost bases.
We thought he was being arrested because he was Googling things, because I've seen other shows where, you Google something and they're like, ooh, that's classified information. How do they know about that? And then they come to your home. And that's what I thought, but it was so instantaneous that it was like, he literally just Googled
hit
that.
enter. He hasn't even
opened the link yet. Cut the guy some slack. But unfortunately, no. So Beckett is so calm. I don't know how she does this. She walks in there and she's like, no, seriously, baby, you have to listen. You're going to die in a day. You have a day left to live. How do you just say it? She's not crying. She's not hysterical. She's just, these are the facts. This is what's happening.
That's a strong woman. It's very Beckett, and, she's strong. She's realizes the severity of the situation, but she also knows that, crying and being emotional isn't going to help him.
Right.
What is going to help him is her going out and solving the case.
Castle's going to get what he wants, though, we see from the previews. He's going to be allowed to help with the case to save his life. So all you need to do is, be exposed to this deadly thing, and then you get to help out on what you wanted initially.
So basically every week Castle has to find a way to almost die so that he can be involved in the case.
I mean, actually, like you were saying, though, about Beckett, this is Beckett. Even when she was standing on a bomb last season and they thought she was going to die at any minute, actually they had a countdown till basically when she was going to die. They knew when it was going off. Both her and Beckett were just her and Castle were just quiet. And they were just, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And they didn't cry. There was no yelling. If that were me, I'd be like, what is happening? Save me, get the bomb. I'd freak out.
Yeah, I would have a total freak out moment.
It's not even
I'd be calling everyone I know.
I love you. She called her dad. It was cute. But other than that, I mean, she hasn't been in training for that long. It's not like she went through military training to be this focused. And it's just, like, blows my mind all the time.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with that. I guess before that, we'll get into a little bit of news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
I don't have too much for you. I just wanted to let you guys know, if you didn't happen to catch the Emmys, Nathan Fillion was in it. He had a very fun dance and singing routine with Neil Patrick Harris, and who else was in it?
Silverman.
Sarah Silverman. Yes, it was very cute. It was very brief, but if you can find it, I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere for you to watch.
It's exactly halfway through the broadcast of the show.
Who knew he had
Exact
such
middle point.
good vocal cords? Why doesn't he sing on Castle more often?
They should do a musical episode of Castle. That
I
might be
know.
fun.
Well, yeah, he sings.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, he did Dr. Horrible sing-along
Yes.
with Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
And he has a great publicist that allowed him to do that.
People love him, though. I mean, from everything that he's done, he has such a loyal fan base, not just from Castle, but Firefly and all of his endeavors. It's hard not to like him. I don't think there's one person who's like, oh, I don't like Nathan Fillion.
I mean, you just follow the guy on Twitter, because even before I started
It's
watching
funny.
Castle, I was following him on Twitter just because he's funny and he seems like a genuinely nice person who I would love to be friends with in real life.
Yeah, he tweeted right before the show, he's like, you better pee now because there's no time later. And I was like, you're right, I should pee now because I'm about to watch Castle. So thank you very much, Nathan Fillion. But also, just a little tidbit, I'm going to be on a red carpet next Monday before I get here talking to the Castle cast at the Paley Center. So hopefully I have a little dirt for you. Can't promise anything. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to see what I can get. Who knows? But they're very friendly people, so I'm sure we can get something out of them.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I can't wait to hear your report.
I got the opportunity, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. But I did ask. I said, what time? Because I have Castle AfterBuzz at 10 o'clock at night, so I have to be able to get there. So don't worry. I'll be here, hopefully with some juicy information for you. But in the meantime, I guess we'll just go with our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Do you have any predictions?
Okay, so I was reading some articles, and I did hear that, you know, people are saying that Beckett and Castle's relationship is definitely going to go through some turmoil and that they're going to have to fight for it. I don't want this to happen, but one of the ways I see this going is that Beckett's going to have to come back to New York. But if she comes back to New York, that means that she failed as a federal agent, and I don't want her to be the girl who tried to go big and came back. So maybe she'll just get relocated.
Well, that's what when you're saying that, I'm thinking there must be a federal bureau in New York.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know they must take into consideration people's families, and maybe she will relocate back to New York, and then we can keep up with everything that's going on there, because Castle's family's there, the precinct's there, everything's in New York. But I didn't hate this episode. I have to say, I didn't dislike the back and forth.
Yeah. Or maybe, you know, they'll do the parallel thing that we were talking about earlier. I also predict that Castle will survive because the show is titled Castle, so he can't die.
He can't. It's just...
He just can't unless it's like Castle the Ghost.
It's like the season 6, episode 1, the end. Or episode 2, the end.
Episode 2, the end. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
I would hate for him to die, but yeah, and then I just hope I see more of Esposito and Ryan, because I'd love to see them working on cases and solving them without Beckett.
I would too.
I think it would be kind of an interesting twist, because we always kind of see her there to keep them focused and on the right path, but to see one of them actually step up and take the lead would be kind of fun to see.
I have, along the same lines as you, Castle's not going to die. I know it's scary to think he might die, but he can't. It's Castle. It's the show. It's what keeps this going. You know, there would be no show without Castle. But I think it's going to be an intense episode. I think there's going to be a lot going on. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Ryan and Esposito next episode because of how crazy it seems like it's going to be. But following that, I think we're going to see more with them. I'm hoping we do. I hope we see more interactions with Esposito and Lainey, maybe some more of the Chief. And the tech girl's back. We still don't know her name. I know, I Googled it. I know it, but I keep forgetting. She's just a tech girl who, like, types away in her computer and finds fun stuff for us. But I think we're just going to see more of them.
Yeah. And Alexa and Pi.
Yeah, Alexis and Pi. And I was saying I love seeing the grandma. She's like my favorite because she just, I want her life. I want to be her when I'm that old. She looks not old, so good for her. But I just want to see more of who we love. And that's my only prediction, is that we will. So who knows if we actually will. Hopefully we do. But Either way, we will be back next week. I am Paige Sullivan. You can find me on Twitter at Paige Sull and Instagram at Paige Sull. And you can follow me on my blog at perfectpage.com.
And I'm Tiona Hobson. You can follow me on on Instagram and Twitter at the Tiona Hobson.
Don't find her on Facebook.
Well, I mean, you can find me on Facebook, Tiona Hobson. I'll be your friend.
She'll be your friend. She'll be your good old castle friend. But thank you guys for watching, and come back for next week because it's a to be continued. So we will see you then.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.